next day and my whole body literally aches from carrying this whole box around from yesterday. But the at least the end result was good. I got a lot of books myself, and like the previous book haul that I did is like nothing in front of this one. Like I got a lot of books for myself, and I'm so excited to show you the books. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first two books that I have are from Jojo Moyes. This one is called Night Music, and this one is called Sheltering Rain. I've never read about this author before. I've never read any books of this author, but I was really interested in the synopsis of these books. These both are actually like family dramas. They both revolve around the family. This one is more about the family and its secrets, and this one is about a woman trying to keep a family together. So I'm really excited to try a new author altogether, and I'm really excited to read this one. Next up, I have these three books by John Green. I've already read Will Grayson, and The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, but I've never read any of the other books by him, like the other three, I guess, that he has. So I have these three with me. This is An Abundance of Catherines, Looking for Alaska, and then Paper Towns. I just looked over the synopsis of them, but I did not go into much detail because I really wanted to read a John Green book after a long time, because the last one I read was like 2 years ago. So I really wanted to read them, and as soon as saw all three of these, I decided to take them all. So next up, I have Shadow Garden by Alexandra Burt. This one is about this wealthy woman called Donna Pryor, and she lives in this luxurious complex with a lot of servants and all. But then she starts to doubt everything about this luxurious complex she's living in, and that is like all I think I needed to know, because I'm really into thriller and mystery and suspense books. So also this one is like newly published. Like this one is not second hand, it was like a newly published stack over there, and I really wanted to read this one because the cover interested me and also the synopsis. So I'm really excited to read this one. Okay, so the next book that I have with me is called Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor, and this one is a light-hearted book, and I really wanted to have a light-hearted book in my shelf because I feel like I have too many thrillers or like serious fiction books. So this one I think as a light-hearted book would really be nice to read, and also the cover is so pretty. Like shout out to the cover designer. So this book is about like this girl whose name is Una Lockhart, and she's about to turn 19 on 1st January 1983. So it's like New Year's Eve 1982, and then she faints, and when she wakes up she is in a 51-year-old woman's body, and then she gets to know that she's going to be like switching bodies every coming year, and then it tells about like what she'll be like. Maybe she'll be a traveler or a club kid or whatever. So I feel like it's gonna be a really funny book to read, and I really wanted to have like a funny or like a light-hearted book on my shelf. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Okay, so speaking of light-hearted comedy books, so I have Thank You Jeeves by P.G. Wodehouse. I have another P.G. Wodehouse book with me, which is called Service with a Smile. I got that at school for a book fair and all, like Children's Day. But this one is also a light-hearted book, and it's like I think it would make like a perfect casual read, because if you're like in a reading slump, or like you're too tired reading like serious books and you just want to have like a fun casual read, taking your own time at your own pace, I think this one would be perfect for like not only teens but like all ages. Like everyone could read this one, I think, and if you want to get into reading a book like this, I think would be perfect for you. Like those two books were like the only light-hearted and like comedy kind of books that I have had with myself. Next up, I have Killer Tea by Robert Muchamo. This one is like a young adult sci-fi kind of book. It's based on Harry and Charlie. They are like two teenagers, and so like the world they live in have this new gene editing technology, and if it falls into the wrong hands, it's going to be a catastrophe. So it spans 10 years, and it's about a story of human resilience and an unsentimental love story. I was really thinking of reading like a young adult kind of book because also the cover is like really pretty, right? I wanted to read a sci-fi book and also a young adult book, so I thought this would be a perfect one to like enter into that world and then decide if I really want to read sci-fi or not. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. So next up, I have Memoirs of Geisha by Arthur Golden. I saw this book in a person's book recommendations on YouTube. I think like a few years ago, like it was 3 to 4 years ago, and then I totally forgot about it. But then I saw this one. I immediately thought of that person. That video I saw, I don't even remember the name. But yeah, it's set in Japan and it's about a geisha and her life. And I think it's going to be a really interesting one because I know nothing about like this Japanese culture of geisha and all, even though I've studied Japanese. But I think this would be a really great insight into the life of geishas and like the personal life of the protagonist, I would say. So I'm really excited to read this one. The next one, I have to give a personal shout out to like the book designer or whoever that is, because look at this book cover. Like this is art. Like this is amazing. I have Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood, and this one is another suspense thriller kind of mystery something. It's about a true story of one of the most enigmatic and notorious women of the 1840s, and Margaret Atwood has created an extraordinarily potent tale of sexuality, cruelty, and mystery. So it's about like this woman. I don't know if she murders someone or if she saw something, someone being murdered, but I love this cover. I think I've said that enough times already, but my friend also got an Margaret Atwood book, and when I saw this one, I was like, okay, maybe we could read this one together because she also has a Margaret Atwood book, and I have two. So I thought I should also take this book with me, and then we could read it together. So looking forward to this one. So the next book is a part of a series, and this one is called The Seventh Scroll by Wilbur Smith. This is the second book in that series. I already have the first one. It's called River God. And when I saw this, I was like, I already have the first part, so I should buy the second one if I have, like it in front of me. So this one is set in Egyptian times. Like it's about this man and his wife who are trying to find this Egyptian secrets, and it's very Egyptian mythology based, and I love these kind of Egyptian, Greek, and Hindu also, yeah, mythology books, and I'm really excited to read this one also because I've already read the first part and it was really good. So now that I have the second one, I think I can go on with the series. The next book that I have is Shall We Tell the President by Jeffrey Archer, and I have already read two books by Jeffrey Archer, which is A Prisoner of Birth, which was my first book, and second I have Trader's Gate, which I read recently this year, and both were equally amazing because Jeffrey Archer has this really amazing style of writing, in which he writes his plot twists. Like the plot twists are amazing in his books. I feel so. And this one is about a president getting a threat of an assassination and all, and they only have 6 days to catch the culprit. This one was really short, and I feel like it's really pocket size and all. So I thought it would really feel like a if I feel like taking a break from like big novels. So I think I'll be reading this one because it's really also very easy to carry and feels very light on the hand too. Okay, so next up I have And the Mountains Echoed by Khalid Hosseini. Khalid Hosseini I think needs no introduction at all. His books are amazing and they're like very high rated on Goodreads as well. I already have the Kite Runner, so I thought I should buy this one as well because why not? I don't know the story at all, but um, I think I'm gonna go into this book without reading the synopsis or knowing anything about it because I think there's some like this is gonna be some fun in going into Khalid Hosseini's book with like no knowledge whatsoever about what this book is about, and I think it's gonna be a very new experience because I've never read a book without reading the synopsis or at least getting an idea first. So this one's gonna be, I think, a very new experience. The last standalone that I have is Deception Point by Dan Brown. Dan Brown needs no introduction. His writing is amazing. And in my last video, I showed you all the book by Dan Brown that I had, Angels and Demons, which is the first one in the Robert Langdon series. but this one is a standalone, and I think this one I'm gonna read this one first so that I can get into Dan Brown's writing and understand how he writes and whether it is for me or not, and then get on with his series. So this one is about NASA detecting an evidence of a rare object buried in the Arctic ice, and then the space agency proclaims a much needed victory, and then like what effect this victory has on the US, and like how they're gonna get that evidence out from the Arctic and all, and what problems they have, because Dan Brown writes like these mystery and thriller kind of books which makes it really interesting to read. So I'm really looking forward to this one as my first Dan Brown book. So the last 7 books I got are from a series, and I got all 7 books of that series till now, and that is A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin, and I'm so happy that I got all of these books, and like they're like in perfect condition too. So I have the first one, A Game of Thrones, and if you don't know, these are the books that the show Game of Thrones is based on. I've already watched season 1, so that I could get like an idea of how the settings are and how the places look and how the characters look. So I'm gonna get on with the books now. So I have the first one, A Game of Thrones. Then I have the second one, A Clash of Kings. Then I have the third book, which is divided into 2 parts, and its first one is called Steel and Snow, and second one is called Blood and Gold. Then I have the fourth book is A Feast for Crows, and then I have the fifth one, which is also divided into 2 parts, and it's called, first is Dreams and Dust, and the second one is After the Feast, and they're collectively named under A Dance with Dragons. I'm so happy with this purchase. I went to the book fair like with the sole purpose that I had to get my hands on the series, and I got like the covers that I wanted, like this covers, like the series covers that I wanted. My favorite ones have to be these two, Blood and Gold and A Feast for Crows. The color in these is so pretty, like so beautiful. This purple, like this wine grape kind of purple, and this red with the gold, like this design on it, like whatever print, I'd say, is amazing. Like this, the color is so rich, and I'm so excited to like binge read all of this series.